Fantastic. Thanks for everybody joining. This is Jim Hardiman with Zocks. We're going to give everybody a couple more seconds here. We see a number of people trickling in. We've had a tremendous amount of interest in today's webinar with lots of people signing up. We are going to be recording today, so for those that want to stick around, or if you need to bounce out early, we will have a recording, and the team is set to follow up with everybody shortly thereafter. So we'll give it another second here. All right, and I'm looking at the numbers, looking good. So let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Jim Hardiman. I'm the EVP of Product here at Zocks. And today's topic is the next era for speed to advice. The genesis of this webinar today was a press release that we just put out here at the beginning of December with a team at eMoney. We've been integrated with eMoney since June earlier this year, and we just obviously just announced a big new initiative around document intelligence and the ability to turn documents into data, and then integrating that into our partners and especially with eMoney as our first financial planning integration. So speed to advice is an important topic for us, and we're going to weave that throughout the conversation today. We are going to have a couple team members, both Nate and Cade are also here as panelists. They're going to be monitoring the Q&A session function behind the scenes. So if you do have questions throughout, we're going to save most of the QA. We're going to save the QA to the end of our time. But if you do have questions that come up, they will be monitoring that and looking for opportunities to answer questions. If it's broadly applicable and makes sense to save to the end, we'll save that and we'll pull those in towards the end of the conversation. Certainly, if you have questions for Zocks, feel free to use that. And also, Neil here and Ricky will be available for Q&A at the end. So I'll ask Neil and Ricky to introduce themselves. We'll start with Ricky. Would love you guys to say hello, a little bit about your role, the company, and then what does it mean to you and your roles in your company when we talk about speed to advice?
Yeah, thanks, Jim. Ricky Elagash, VP of Product Management here at eMoney. My focus is on strategic partnerships like Zocks, and our data products as a whole. So everything in and out of eMoney data-wise sort of falls into the product org that I run. Why it's important to have integrations like the one we have with Zocks is eMoney is fully committed to continually improving the overall planning experience and streamlining workflows. That can be really hard as advisors typically use multiple tools to achieve outcomes. And integrations like the one you're going to see today with Zocks is going to make that a little bit easier. And
Yeah,
we're excited to be here today.
appreciate it. Thanks, Ricky, for joining us. We really appreciate the partnership and appreciate your support today in the webinar. Neil.
I'm Neil Slavsky. I'm managing director and head of office, actually managing partner and head of office for Osaic Advisors. We formerly were at Goldman with the PFM unit that was United Capital. Been an eMoney user and eMoney raving fan for about 25 years, all the way back to eMoney's launch in 2000. And every one of our clients has a plan, and we operate our team via our planning. And the Zocks integration has been a huge lift for our team. My major goal this year was to use the tools that were becoming available through AI, through Zocks, to be able to grow the practice without adding a tremendous amount of headcount. I have an incredibly talented team. They're really smart. They know what they're doing. They love serving our clients, and having them do what I would call low-level work, data entry work, repetitive tasks. Those are the low-hanging fruit for us to eliminate and use the technologies to make us more efficient. And we use Zocks every day. We use eMoney every day. And the things that are being added to our productivity are really game-changing. So very excited about this work, and a huge fan of Zocks doing it with eMoney.
Awesome. Thanks, Neil, and just really appreciate your support as well. And it's been great to partner with you and your team over the since I guess it's been since March that you've been using Zocks, and so really appreciate just your partnership and your input and feedback as we go. And we're certainly excited to have you give some stories later on and talk about a little more detail in your day-to-day using of the tool. So I'm going to jump in and move forward here. I'm going to give a little bit of background on Zox. So if you're joining the webinar today and maybe it'd be hard not to be familiar with eMoney, but if you're not familiar with Zox, I'm going to talk a little bit about Zox. I've got some slides to set the table here, and then we're going to spend quite a bit of time looking at the software and how the integration works. Zocks is an AI assistant. It's built for financial services. It's specifically built for financial advisors, be that wealth management, financial planning, tax, or insurance. It's particularly geared for that use case. We've got about almost now nearly 3,500 different firms on the platform. And when we say firms, it's essentially logos. So that's everything from solo advisors up to some of the biggest mega RIAs, as well as a lot of the enterprise broker dealers. So we officially launched in February 2024, and we've been growing quite well and adding more and more integrations like the eMoney integration and other product innovations on a monthly basis. This year, it's been really gratifying to win a number of awards from different industry publications. We've also gained quite a bit of recognition through some of the industry analysts that you'll recognize here. So Kits has recently rated us number one in value and momentum. The Oasis Group is an independent group that did a side-by-side comparison for the leading offerings in this space, and we were ranked as the number one product offering. And then the Ezra Group ranked us as one of three top-tier solutions looking at a variety of different solutions in this space. One of the things we're really proud of with the Ezra Group is they actually take a look at the breadth, depth, and quality of integrations. And so Zox currently has an 8.41 score with the Ezra Group, and that's just really an indication for, again, the quality and the depth of the integration. I think you're going to see that later today, that this isn't just a simple push integration, but this is a bi-directional, very tight integration with the eMoney platform. To Neil's point, exactly like our kind of guiding light and like the way we think about design and prioritizations, not only for features that we're building, but also for integrations, is that we believe, as Neil said, that the highest value work for your team is to spend more time with clients, more time analyzing the information, more time building plans in eMoney, and spending more time with those clients rather than all of the manual work that goes into delivering advice. And so, if you look at for every hour you're likely spending with a client, we believe you're probably spending anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour either preparing for that meeting or doing work post meeting. And that's, documentation, updating systems, mobilizing the team for action items and follow-ups. Throughout the day, you're spending time answering emails, answering phone calls, you're responding to just client inquiries on a regular basis. And we all know that data entry is a time suck. It's a killer for momentum. Filling out forms, filling out the important data that drives a quality plan in eMoney, all of that takes time to acquire those documents and enter that data. And so Zox is particularly focused in these areas to save advisors time and really elevate the client experience and speed to advice. So we have a suite of applications. So we started in the note-taking space. So Zox does have a meeting assistant, and we'll talk today about how Zox can be used for automated note-taking, but also meeting prep and keeping systems like eMoney up to date and filling in data. We also have a forms capability, and we'll show you can build forms on the Zox platform or integrate with tools that are take input data for forms like eMoney. So we'll look at that. We also have an email application or an email agent. You can attach Zocks to your Outlook or Gmail account. And through the integrations with CRM and documents and eMoney and others, we can pull information from those systems to help draft replies to client emails. And then there's a whole suite of capabilities around coaching and insights to look at, client insights as well as insights across your practice. And for enterprise customers looking across the entire hierarchy of all the different organizations and firms and users in your environment. We're going to spend the most of our time today in the meeting assistant and forms capabilities. We'll touch a little bit on these as we go through, but we'll maximize our time around our integration and how we interact with eMoney. Some unique things about Zocks is that we are a no recording solution. So what that means is that we don't have an audio or video file as a result of analyzing a conversation. And that it doesn't really matter if it's a virtual meeting like the Zoom call today, or if you're a face-to-face conversation or using our iOS or Android app for face-to-face conversations. We do not record. We do what's called live transcriptions, and then we take the transcript and then turn that into notes and data. And we're really known for the structured data, so you'll see that we're able to pull quite a bit of information out of a conversation, push that to eMoney. And we won't spend a lot of time on it today, but just know that there's a lot of built-in data security, privacy, and compliance controls, again, because it's specifically built for this industry. So in addition to these capabilities around meetings, forms, email, and insights, as I mentioned earlier, we announced on December 2nd a new capability around Zocks Document Intelligence. And what that means is that it's our ability to turn an image or a PDF or other documents into data. So Zocks, you can upload scans, photos, PDFs, and we'll show that today where we're going to scan that document. We're going to extract information from that document, organize that information, and then you can use that to sync into your systems like your CRM. We'll show eMoney today. You can also interact with that document asking questions. Out of the box, these are the templates that we currently support, but you have a lot of flexibility in building custom templates. So if you have a very specific type of document you may use in your business process, it's quite easy to clone any one of these or build one from scratch, or our team can help you. But out of the box, you can see here we've built quite a bit of intelligence around very specific documents that you likely are using in your day-to-day process. So just practically, and we're going to kind of use this as a blueprint for the demo today. Again, Zocks has the ability to analyze conversations, be it virtual, face-to-face, and phone calls. Through our integrations with eMoney and other applications, we connect to various portfolio management systems, a slew of CRMs. We're also processing documents now and connected to your email and calendar. All of this gives us contextual information about your clients in order to help you automate more and more functions here on the right. So we'll spend some time looking at meeting preparation. How do we get ready for a meeting, pulling information from these sources? We'll simulate a meeting taking place in automated meeting notes and pushing that data into eMoney. So that's where we're headed on today's demo. And we'll jump in there and do that next. So I'm going to switch gears here, and let me confirm that I am sharing that tab. Looks like it. So this is Zocks. This is what Zocks looks like. If you're an existing user and you're very familiar with this, but maybe you haven't connected to eMoney, we'll talk a little bit about that here now. So once you get started with Zocks, and maybe you're an existing user or you're onboarding for the first time, you're going to go through and connect your system. So much like that slide that I just showed here, you're going to start connecting to the systems that matter. And this is where you would connect to a phone, the various virtual meeting platforms, your calendar, your email. And this is where you're going to connect to eMoney. We also support connections to various portfolio management systems, with more coming in Q1, Plan, and then a bunch of CRMs here. I've actually connected to Redtail for my demo environment, and we also support Precise FP. We just recently launched some capabilities around what's called Zocks Academy. So if you're new to Zocks, or you're new to Zocks and the eMoney integration, you can come in here. We've got courses for Zocks 101, so learning how to use Zocks and getting the most out of it. And then we just released a course earlier this morning to coincide with the webinar. You can learn a lot of how to utilize eMoney in your practice, best practices, and getting started. So I'd highly encourage you, if you haven't seen the Zocks Academy, to check that out. There's also a help down here in the lower right. If you go into this and search on eMoney, there's also instructions and a video of how to get started, how to get connected, and how to get set up. So lots of resources on how to get started with Zocks and eMoney. So I'm going to start with our first kind of use case and touch point with eMoney, and that's what's called meeting prep. And so I'm connected to my calendar. I'm looking at upcoming meetings here. I've got some meetings coming up on December 19th. I've got a quarterly check-in with the Smith family that I've been working with for a while. And I'm going to go and take a look here at meeting prep. And what this does is Zocks is going to go out again. It's going to look at all of the data sources that I have information about the Smith family, because I've got my calendar, as well as email. I've got past conversations. I've got records in Redtail. I've got an eMoney plan built for them. I'm managing some accounts and monitoring those through Orion, and other various data sources. So what we've done is, through a template, we're going out and we're looking at the information that's available to get me ready to meet with this client. So you can see here that we've pulled in information about who am I meeting with. We're leveraging past conversations here, and all of these have references to where this information is coming from. So the last time we met with this family was back in May. These are the key things that we talked about and any decisions that we made. We've got an overall household summary. We've got a summary of their financial goals. And again, this is being pulled from eMoney in this case. And we're also pulling information in from about their portfolio. That's coming from Orion. We've got some suggestions for conversation starters, summary for past conversations, and then we're pulling in any tasks that are open from the CRM. So very easy to put this on a schedule. It'll run automatically. You can set the time frame of when you want that to run. We'll come up with an agenda. Maybe you have some fixed items you always talk about. We'll dynamically build some based on past conversations and tasks. And we'll even generate an email that you can send to the client referencing when they're getting together and what that is. So that's the first touch point with eMoney. So we're pulling values from eMoney to help you prepare for the next conversation with the client. I'm going to keep moving. The next kind of use case, obviously what Zocks was originally known for, is note taking. So I've done a discovery call here with the Dawsons. And this happened to be a pretty quick demo environment, so about an 8-minute conversation, fully jam-packed with a lot of details. Zocks attended, again, this could be a phone call, this could be face-to-face, this could be a virtual meeting, and then Zocks has summarized that conversation with some detail here. So it's looked at what the meeting purpose is. It's collected information about the family, their background. You can see with an emphasis on ages and birth dates, their address, what they do for a living, things that they enjoy doing for recreation life. And then we've uncovered a number of assets, and we're using kind of round values, approximate values here as part of that discovery conversation. No real discussion around liabilities. We're summarizing their goals and priorities, kind of recapping in detail what were the various major topics we looked at, and even looking at what was agreed to as a future catch-up meeting. So Zocks automatically creates all of this information. We'll create tasks here as part of the follow-up, so things that I need to do as the advisor or the clients need to do as part of the follow-up. And then we'll even generate a follow-up email that you can then send through your connected Gmail or Outlook account. So very typical for advisors. This is again a discovery call, but the notes can look very different if it's a quarterly check-in or some other type of meeting that you're performing. You can save this information quite easily to your CRM. It's all editable at this point, and then you're gonna, through the synchronization with your CRM, you can save it to a contact or a household. The same with the tasks. But let's take a look at what it looks like to send this into eMoney. So what I've done here in just to save us a little time is I've got my clients here in eMoney. I've got the Dawson family, and I've got a basic kind of shell set up for them. And now I want to send over all of this discovery data and information over to eMoney. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the eMoney integration here. And what this is doing, again, back to our slides from previously, it's going to look through the any emails, it's going to look through CRM records, it's going to look through the conversation, and it's going to start looking for information that we can put into eMoney. Since this is a brand new client in eMoney and we don't have any data, it's going to first analyze what's possible, and then it's going to look at the transcript and start prepping the data to go into eMoney. If this was an existing client in eMoney already that already had a plan for, it's going to look for new updates, things that are missing, or anything that's potentially changed. And I, as the advisor, have the ability to pick and choose and control what gets sent over into eMoney. So you can see that it's running now and analyzing the conversation. So we have some results here. It's going to look at, it's going to look at things like address. It's going to find clients and birth dates, their occupations. It's going to find all the data that's possible. You have total control over this. You can still edit any of these. You can pick and choose if you want to opt out for those types of updates. So you have total control over what you send over. And you can see here it follows the construct of eMoney around the household data, assets, expenses, incomes, insurance. So anything that it's detected as part of the conversation, it's going to go ahead and flag that. We'll alert if there's anything missing that you might need to do some cleanup on, and then we'll go ahead and save that over to eMoney. So it takes a couple seconds to publish the information. Again, you've got total control. You can do this in stages if you want, and pick and choose kind of what you want to send over. And it's finished. So I'll go back over here and I'll hit refresh. And you can see now that I've got, actual ages, their occupation, some information around kind of their goals. It's created the children with ages as well. It's created some assets here, so it pulled that high yield savings account, the various accounts, incomes, the blog and consulting income for Mary here, as well as James's healthcare or his salary at HCA Healthcare, Social Security annual bonus. It's also created expenses for insurance premiums and everything else. So, very easily coming out of a conversation, it can summarize it. It's going to turn all of that conversational data into facts, and it's going to push that into eMoney, saving you a ton of time from data entry. Obviously, this is something that you can now expose to the client for in the portal. They can add additional details, they can make changes, and you can start building a plan even faster than you have in the past with no manual data entry. So that is conversation coming out of conversation and creating something in eMoney. So that was, again, what we released back in June. We have a couple thousand users using it now. Tremendous feedback, tremendous time saving and productivity. The next thing I want to show is documents. And so we talked a little bit about the different types of documents. that we support. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, we'll go back over here to our client list. You can see the entire client list. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, I don't even have the contact here in Zocks. I'm going to start the process literally just from a document, and I've got a fictitious portfolio statement here. I'm going to drag and drop that into Zocks. And the very first thing it's going to do is start to look through that document and see, is there contact information that we can lift out of that document and turn that into not only a contact in Zocks, but I'm going to go ahead and create that as a contact automatically over in eMoney. So we'll set up his email address. We'll create that contact, and that'll start the process to create the contact, and then it'll start to analyze the document that I just uploaded. So while it's analyzing that document, let's take a look at the statement itself. So I've got a fictitious sample statement here. It's 21 pages in length. This is a custodian statement. So we've got John and Sally with their address here. We've got their total portfolio value. It's got three accounts here. So we've got a brokerage account, an IRA rollover, as well as a 529 plan for a child. And then a very typical, things like the asset allocation, top holdings data, and then it goes through account by account with that level of data, things like, the breakdown per account, activity around the account, and other data. So Zocks is in the background as it's going through and looking through all of this document. And you can see here that it's done analyzing that. And it's going to automatically see that there is a 529 plan. And again, it's starting to look at what's available to push into eMoney and what is the required data that is involved in setting up these accounts. So here's the IRA rollover and the brokerage account and other details. So we'll go ahead and push that over into eMoney. And again, it takes a second to publish. Come back over here and we'll go ahead and hit refresh. And now we've got John and Sally Harrison. And we'll take a look at what are some of the base facts here. So you can see that it's created both John and Sally. We don't have a date of birth or any other information about occupation or anything like that from a brokerage statement. But we can start to look at, the accounts that were just created automatically. We can look at, it's now got default values for various things. Some very living expenses, tax assumptions, things of that nature. So some basic data is in there now. And we're going to go ahead and layer on top of that. So we're going to go into John again. And this time we're going to upload a pay stub. And we'll drop that in as well. And we'll take a look at what that pay stub looks like. So here is John's pay stub. And we've got some information about his employer. We've got some information about it's a monthly period versus every 2 weeks. Yes, this is from 2017. It's just a sample document. We've got their gross pay, their net pay, and then some of the details that I think are pretty neat is we've got a lot of detail here around the insurance. And it finished. So let's come back over here and take a look at it. So it extracted that information from the document here, and we'll go ahead and push that into eMoney as well. So it's going to do things like set up a salary. It's going to set up all of the premiums that they're paying for the insurance. We'll set that up in eMoney. So we're looking for, this type of information around life insurance information. You can see kind of what they pay versus what the employer is, what the year to date has been. So Zocks will start doing the calculations to turn that into the required fields that go into eMoney.
Jim, how matter of fact you are about how well this works
Yes.
is very different from the first time you showed it to me after having done this work for decades, seeing it happen so quickly, so accurately, and so cleanly
I appreciate that. Yeah.
absolutely blew us away.
You know, yeah, I think there's a lot of people that will show you kind of smoke and mirror demos. I think it's really like it's really a part of our philosophy to set, to show working software. And sometimes even in a demo environment, 30 seconds can feel like 3 minutes. So I appreciate that. And but it's important for us to show working software. So all of that information now is pushed in. And so we'll go ahead and hit refresh on our client here. So we're layering in information. So we've got, let's see, incomes here. So now we've got the University of New Mexico, their salary. It's annualized the salary based on the monthly period. It's also created all of the insurance premiums here. You can see that all starting to trickle in and be set up. And it's created all of their insurance right off of the pay stub here. So obviously, it's going to take some additional effort to go in and fill out more detail and things that you want to model. But Neil, to your point, this is taking a tremendous amount of data entry off of your team's plate and allowing them to do the real work of planning and building, a plan to meet the needs of the client. So that's document processing and documents into eMoney. As I mentioned earlier, these are, we've got a variety of different document templates. These templates, you can see there's quite a bit of information that get lifted off of this. This could be saved into your Redtail, and it can also be used to create contacts in other systems. And we're going to keep developing this more and more over time. Some of the things that we're looking at, and I'll kind of anticipate some questions. We are looking at integrations with things like SharePoint, with Box, with Ignite, and other document platforms, so that we'll have the ability to intake these documents and process them programmatically. But today, you're going to be, loading them in to either create contacts or logging in and looking at an existing contact, uploading those documents and putting those into the workflows and tools that you need downstream. So fantastic, fantastic. It's very cool to be able to show this off. And I'm going to come back now. And just to reiterate what we just saw there, we looked at how the integration works with eMoney. So you can synchronize contacts between the two systems. So if there's contacts that are in Zocks, we can create those in eMoney. If they're already in eMoney, we can create those down in Zocks. Or if they exist in both systems, we're gonna automatically sync those together based on email. You saw us filling out the facts table, but know that you can do the same thing with any updates. So if you've got existing plans in eMoney and you have a conversation or you have an updated document, it's very easy to upload those, and those can be then sent into eMoney. And we're going to give you a side-by-side comparison to pick and choose. So you have total control over what syncs between the two systems. You saw instant meeting prep, pulling information from eMoney. What we didn't look at today was automated email replies and our Ask Anything. I would highly encourage you to watch some of the other videos or reach out to the Zocks team. Happy to demo that, time permitting. But we're writing to the entirety of the eMoney data set that it's possible. So there's well over 200 fields. It's not only the base facts, but it's also the advanced kind of deeper facts that we can write to. And so we're taking full advantage of the integration capabilities there. So with that, I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna ask Ricky to come back in and Ricky, I know you've seen this a couple times, but I don't know that you've seen end to end all of it together so recently. So would love to get your impressions. We obviously launched this back in June. We're enhancing it with this today. You guys are the only ones you've got the exclusive rights to document integration. Would love to just get your thoughts on what you saw and where this is going.
Yeah, no, Jim, it was an amazing demo. I feel like every time I watch it, I learn something new a
Yeah.
little bit. Um, I don't know if I've seen it in depth that much since the original launch earlier this summer, where the
Yeah,
meeting notes were powering data inside of eMoney, eliminating that need for advisors to hand write down all of these notes and then go to eMoney and type them all in, taking them a tremendous amount of time. That alone was a huge improvement for that
yeah,
advisor's overall workflow. The document uploading is one of the biggest, another big pain point for advisors. Advisors give this long checklist to these clients of, I need
yeah,
your W-2s, I need your other tax forms, I need your pay stubs, I need all these statements. And these advisors collect them and they put them in eMoney's vault or maybe their own document
yeah,
storage. And they have assistants or somebody else type all these facts into eMoney, and it takes hours at sometimes. So watching this demo, we're
yeah,
36 minutes in, you showing how quickly you can get facts into eMoney,
yeah.
dropping these into that area is a very powerful statement on time saving for these advisors.
Yeah, and if you know, if we had more time, like I've got a sample bank statement, for instance, for this client that like from a credit union, and it's they've got a real estate loan, they've got a savings account, they've got a everyday checking account. So that's just another kind of example of things that you could drop in there. If they've got a will, if they have insurance policies, those are all things that are, fair game and documents that we've built templates for and have tested a ton with eMoney. So. Yeah, we foresee a day where you literally should be able to have a conversation and then drag and drop a series of documents and get 80% of the job done for data entry and eMoney would be super powerful for advisors. And again, time to advice, right?
Absolutely. I mean, we know the stats out there, right? It's like 10 plus hours to build a
Yeah,
financial plan.
yeah,
And I want to say half of that is data collection
it is.
in a lot of
Yes,
instances. And it's been a something eMoney's been chipping away at. How do we make it easier to build plans, but keep the level of sophistication in planning that eMoney provides? And it's been something we've been attacking little by little, year after year. And this is
yeah.
huge step forward in the data collection space to sort of continue to chip away at the time to build a plan.
Yeah, fantastic. Um, any thoughts on I like one of the things that you guys just released for some new endpoints in the APIs is that we could actually get progress against goals as well as kind of what's changed since the last like at the date at the field level what's changed. So I almost vision like us further building out like the meeting prep to not only pull kind of what's current but like what's changed since the last time we met with the client and what's our progress against the various goals and calculations that are built in your platform. And so we were super excited to see that just in your new documentation a week ago. And so we fully plan to jump on that and start leveraging it.
No, it's great to hear. We really put that in there for partners like yourself, who are actively trying to create these joint experiences and really wanting to know what's
Yeah.
changed since last time.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why we put it in there. So you don't
Yeah.
have to worry or wonder, and you don't have to worry
Yeah.
about stale data that's in your experience. You know, hey,
Yeah.
last time you interface with our platform, you have the latest and greatest, and you know what the change has been.
Yeah. No, that's
Ricky,
fantastic.
that's really interesting because one of the things that I'd asked Jim earlier is we really rely on the Monte Carlo scoring and the probability of success, and that's a report that's generated. So the fact that you guys are working on it and we could literally ask Zocks live in a meeting to
Mhm.
go in and run that and give us an assessment based on a change we just uploaded makes it very dynamic, very exciting, and really powerful when you're in a meeting with a client.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, we see like not only meeting prep, but just automated email responses, a client sending an email asking about something about their plan and us being able to say, hey, you're on track and you've achieved X at this point on your retirement goal or your education goal, and doing that in an automated way, or Neil, like you said, just using the ask anything kind of live during a conversation, live during a meeting. All of those are huge keeps you from having to log into multiple systems kind of on the fly, going and getting that information from the best source. And if the best answer is from eMoney, then we want to be able to pull that on the fly. I'm going to ask Neil to, so thanks, Ricky. Super appreciate you being here. Neil, maybe just your impressions on what you saw. I know you were using Zocks just earlier today. Tell us a little bit about your journey with eMoney and Zocks and what it means day to day, and where do you see this, this what you saw today, how's that can impact your team going forward?
As it relates to planning, I've often said to others, I think in e-money at this point. I really can't function without it and haven't for,
Yeah.
for quite a number of years. And so the greatest negative of e-money is the level of detail, the level of data. It's also its greatest strength in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But the time spent maintaining, updating, adding is always been something that is a staffing challenge. And in fact, the staffing challenges have been a gating issue for us.
Mm,
We're a very busy practice. There are five of us that are client facing, and then I've got a wonderful professional support team. And the team would often tell us we can't have more than X number of client meetings a week because we can't prepare for them. And that was always a frustration. So my choice was to add more staff or
hmm
to have fewer meetings. Now, the fact that we've really eliminated so much of the heavy lifting of populating a plan or pulling for meeting prep or looking at prior meetings, and Zox is so integral to this process, not just with eMoney, but I did see a question fly about integration to CRM. We launched our Practify about a month ago in our practice, completely committed to being working with Zocks. And just this morning, I had a client meeting yesterday. Hadn't got time to process yet because unfortunately had to attend a funeral. First thing this morning, went in with my co-advisor on that account. We pulled up in a Zoom session. We pulled up the meeting notes in Practify. We ran our template. The template gave us our tasks. We reviewed the tasks that had been pulled out of the meeting. We then hit the integration button to go to Practify, pulled up our task screen, assigned them to the different team members or ourselves, whoever was responsible for executing that for the client. And literally within minutes, I'm then seeing emails with my team that are going
Yeah.
back and forth to clients to achieve things that came out of that meeting. And it all was done seamlessly, quickly, and literally without taking up more time of anybody's. Just incredibly powerful. And then at the same time, that client gave us some additional data points that we didn't have in eMoney. We pulled our
hmm
eMoney form, we saw the updates, click, done. Did not have to ask a team member to stop what they were doing and make those updates.
Yeah.
I have a very smart team. I want them to be functioning at their best capability. The tool set is finally here to get that. I've been screaming for API integration for
Yeah.
more than a decade.
Yeah.
API integration wasn't the whole story, though. The whole story was really being able to get those APIs to be intelligently functioning
Mm.
between tools. And so the term that I've coined, and I only ask for attribution, feel free to steal it, is that Zox is my monkey in the middle.
Yeah.
Zox is standing there and grabbing from here and grabbing from there and adding back to here and organizing there. And it's the promise keeping, right? We've all
Yeah.
lost a client at some point because we forgot to do something. We're human, we're fallible.
Yeah.
This allows us to keep our promises in an incredibly efficient way. And, I've been part of a CEO coaching program for over 20 years or 19 years called Vistage. And we set goals every year. My number one goal for 2025 was to get our automation to a point where we could really realize the promise of what
Mm.
this new generation of AI is delivering and to make us more efficient. And I'm so thrilled that as we approach year end, we're there. We've
Yeah.
got lots of little things to iron out. There'll be work to do, but we are getting tremendous utility in case prep, in client meetings. We haven't had a single client meeting without Zocks in the meeting now in 6 months.
Okay.
And so the library of meeting notes, the library of to-dos are now integrated with the CRM and integrated back to our major planning tool. And the two other pieces that I know that the team at Zocks is working on is we are Black Diamond users on the portfolio management side,
Hmm.
and we are new users with wealth.com on the estate planning side, and those
Yep.
integrations will be there as well. So the fact that we have a tool that speaks to all the other tools and does
Hmm.
real work,
Yeah. Yeah.
real work that frees my team to be able to do other things. I see us being we manage about 1.5 billion now. I see us being able to add another billion with only adding maybe 10% more headcount, maybe 15.
Amazing.
And that really drives profitability. It drives client loyalty because you're not forgetting things, and it
Hmm.
drives just accuracy. I'm incredibly fortunate to be with Osaic. They have been very attuned to and fast on adding the different tool sets that we've asked for. So that's also been a pleasure. I really have to give a shout out to the team at Osaic, making so many different tools available to us so quickly and making sure they're
Yeah.
compliant and the data is stored correctly. So that's one big benefit of a larger organization behind us doing some of that work.
Yeah. Neil, how hard was it to start adopting Zocks and kind of mastering how Zocks works with Practify and eMoney? Like what, for for those that may be in the audience that are unsure about trying these new tools, and I think you've gave a great testimonial on just like the impact for time savings, but how hard is it to adopt and get it integrated into your practice day to day?
I would say it's among the easiest ads we've ever done. It's
Okay.
so intuitive. Um, the the hard part is ends up being your naming conventions and your data conventions across your different tool sets,
Yeah.
and now getting some consistency so there's common ways for everything to talk to each other. We all have had frustrations over decades with unique client identifiers and this one and
Hmm.
that one, and then something changes and everything goes kaflooey. These are all based on client email. That's how the integrations work, and that's
Yeah.
really natural and smart. So adding Zocks for all of our client meetings was a no-brainer, took absolutely almost no effort. Learning how to do the eMoney integration and the form set, so simple. It's really designed beautifully. And so we really had no stress in this integration at all.
Yeah. That's
And
fantastic.
yeah, and the adoption across our advisors, so frustrating over decades trying to get advisors to use CRMs and really get the full value out of them.
Mm.
We just took all the barriers away from the advisors. They don't have to do data entry anymore. They have to point and click.
Yeah.
And they're, good advisors are busy and they really don't want to focus on their clients. They don't want to focus on forms or data. This allows us, as from a management's perspective, to get what I really need being done, but make it super easy for the user.
Yeah.
And it really
Hmm.
does. The experience is just terrific. I have one particular advisor. He's got a military background. He's an Army Ranger, graduated West Point, and he's really big on accountability.
Mm.
And he was very frustrated, and advisors get frustrated with speed of getting
Yeah.
things done, and service teams are always busy, and there's lots
Yeah.
of competing priorities. He now can do a client meeting, get the notes, throw his tasks out there, and run his report from his dashboard to see exactly where all the tasks are with every client that he promised in the last meeting. And that happens in honestly less than 5 minutes
Yeah.
after the meeting.
Speed to
So
advice. That's
yeah,
that's
it
that's the
truly
topic,
is.
right? Right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and then the
Yeah.
promise keeping and not dropping balls, it's putting that safety net under us. So we're
Yeah.
really delivering to our clients.
Yeah, I think, when we launched last year, I think, early on it was really easy to kind of quantify time savings, but now that we've had people on the platform for, over a year or longer, we're really starting to see kind of the what you're saying, Neil, is that the quality, better notes, better conversations, better client experience, better experience for the staff and the support team too, right? Better experience for the advisor. All of those things are byproducts of this automation. We're also starting to see that you're just able to, because you have more capacity, you can offer more services to maybe clients that are B and C kind of clients, or we see a lot of people expanding to add things like estate planning or other, tax planning capabilities, just because now I can offer more capabilities to my clients given more capacity. So yeah, we've seen a lot of people be able to your point, scale without necessarily adding all the headcount.
We're super excited about that.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, let me I think to Neil's point, getting started is quite easy. So I want to just point out if you're an existing eMoney user and you want to try out Zocks, it's very easy to do that. We offer free trials. We have three levels of licensings. We have the Essentials, Professional, and Ultimate. The integration with eMoney is absolutely free between Zocks and eMoney. If you're on the Essentials or Professional product, you can sync contacts, you can update and fill data into eMoney, do automated meeting prep, use the Ask Anything function. If you want to use with documents or email replies, you do need to be on our Ultimate level license. That's the version that has the document intelligence and email replies built in. If you're an existing user on Essentials or Professional, you can actually upgrade and try Ultimate for free. We call that a Delta trial. So if you're an existing user, you can actually try Ultimate up to 30 days. If you'd like book a demo with our team to see this in action or talk about how it might fit into your practice, please reach out. We will send some details as a follow-up to the webinar to be able to book a time. And then don't forget the Zocks Academy that I showed earlier. Very easy to kind of master Zocks 101, get started using eMoney and using it effectively. So with that, I'm gonna turn it back over and ask Cade or Nate to bring in some questions that you guys have kept for the Q&A session, and let us know who the question is intended for, if you would, please. You'll have to come off of mute there, Cade.
Yeah, sorry about that. Well done, Jim, Ricky, Neil. Appreciate everybody's times here. We're trying to keep up on the questions, but I think some good ones here that I've highlighted. I can find them real quick. I think just starting out with this kind of softball one is a good one. Can you talk a little bit, Jim, about a lot of advisors work on a team-like structure? Can you explain a little bit how that would work within Zocks and obviously how like somebody that's maybe not an advisor would be able to assist them with the eMoney integration as well?
Yeah, great question. So on our professional and above plans, we have what's called collaboration. So you can set everybody to see everything on the account, or you can pick and choose. So maybe if I'm doing joint work with Cade and Neil, but not Ricky, I can explicitly say who I want to share clients with or contacts with. We have licenses for support staff. And so if I'm supporting multiple advisors, I have the ability to go in and filter on my client list as well as past meetings list. Each lead advisor will need to connect their Zocks to eMoney accounts because it does require them to enter their username and password, which we encrypt through what's called OAuth. So once that's set up as an assistant, I can go in, filter on, say, Cade's meeting that he just had with a client. And if Cade's connected to his eMoney account, I can push that on behalf of Cade into eMoney. So just takes a little bit of configuration and setup, but absolutely we can support that scenario.
And Jim, just want to mention, you had
Yeah.
asked how easy was this? When we added the eMoney integration, we're on a single sign-on structure.
Yeah.
I literally only had to go to my single sign-on, click into eMoney, click back to Zocks, and it had my
Yeah.
connection. It was the easiest integration I've ever seen. There was a famous author who used to say, when technology reaches a point, it looks like magic, or magic is
Yeah.
hasn't been explained yet by technology. Whichever way that went, that's
Yeah.
what that was.
It's amazing. Yeah, and very with our automated contact syncing. If the contact's already in eMoney, they're in Zocks. We're gonna sync on email addresses you pointed out earlier, Neil. So a lot of the, a lot of the behind the scenes connections get made automatically once you connect your account. So quite powerful.
Ricky, this is a question for you. I'm not really sure the answer. Is eMoney working on a document drop or and OCR tool within the eMoney platform?
Not at this moment. Um, May in the future.
Perfect. Okay. Um,
So in the meantime, you just have to use Zocks.
yeah, there you go. Here's a good one for those that are dealing with trusts, some of those other documents that Jim mentioned. If I upload a trust document, how will that transfer over into eMoney? Will it generate an estate flow or anything like that? I don't know if you're aware of that, Ricky or Jim.
So, I mean, we have documents for like legal estate planning level documents. Right now our integration is to fill the base facts in eMoney. And so once it's in the base facts, it would really be up to how much of that data gets utilized in those flowcharts. So maybe Ricky, you can speak a little bit more to that, how that the base facts fill those charts.
Um, Really depends on which base facts and which charts, right? So it's a
Okay.
we have lots of charts and lots of base facts. So
Yeah.
um maybe
I might
something we could follow up with afterwards.
might one to test. Yeah.
I mean, I'll speak to it from an advisor perspective, and it's not an e-money answer. And I'm sorry, Ricky, but we have onboarded Wealth.com. Our advanced planning team did a comparison between Vanilla and Wealth. Felt Wealth was the better solution for us. I know that Zocks is going to do the integration there, and what I can absolutely see, I have a high degree of confidence that Wealth.com reads those trusts. It is
Hmm.
really a legally driven AI that is built to do just that and to read them correctly. And I do a lot of complex planning. Many of my clients are 50 million and up, and we do quite a bit of complex planning. So loading in complex documents into Wealth, I am getting very accurate
Yeah.
synopses of the documents and flowcharts. Since I have that integration between all three tools, I will be able to move the wealth.com data through Zocks to eMoney if I also want the estate plan replicated in eMoney, which I often do.
Yeah.
So I do see, and I would expect by end of first quarter or whenever the wealth integration is up at Zocks, that real true estate planning work through AI read documents will be a reality. And the wealth or the vanilla, both tremendously good tools,
Yeah.
are really built to read documents the way we need them read, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense, and we're not going to purport to be, better at reading estate planning documents than Wealth or Vanilla, but we will be able to pull off kind of the major pieces of information, names of trusts, beneficiaries, things of that nature, assets that are held in those trusts. So, but yeah, we'll as those integrations become more readily available in Q1. We'll just keep iterating on that to get it fully flowing back into eMoney if that's the desire.
Very good. Got a lot of questions here, trying to kind of sift through them, some duplicate ones. Trying to find one that are related to both Zocks and eMoney here. Jim, can you speak to, I know this is hard, I believe, for us to really quantify this, but can you speak to like accuracy rate of the data interpretation of the document intelligence? And not only that, but also accuracy rate of maybe the transcription of
Hmm.
Zocks as well. I know that's a common question I get on demo calls with advisors.
Yeah, so as it pertains to like transcription, the transcription service that we're using is the top rated one for accuracy. And we benchmark on multiple other transcription services on a regular basis, and we actually have switched transcription services more than once in the last 2 years, just based on improvements, and we'll continue to do that. As far as the accuracy, what that then translates to, I mean, obviously, I can't predict on background noise or people talking over one another or people, talking and missing certain details, all of that is going to play a factor into what can actually be captured. I will say that as LLMs have gotten better and better over the last couple of years, that accuracy is going up, and we do get high marks for accuracy. I think you saw that in some of the studies by Ezra Group and the Oasis Group. We get high marks in that area. So, but it's never going to be perfect, and so we are human in the loop by design on purpose, and so you should be reviewing the what gets extracted. You should be reviewing what's about to go into eMoney, and that's why we have those pop-up screens. We're not pushing that automatically. We want you to review it. We want you to decide what exactly you want to go into those tools. It's really important that you continue to do that from a compliance standpoint as well as just responsibility standpoint. So we are at time, and I want to really thank Neil and Ricky for your guys' participation. Thank you for everybody who attended today. I know we didn't come close to answering all the questions in the Q&A, and so we will, if you have questions and you didn't get an answer, please reach out to your account executive at Zocks or hit our support channel. We will be sending out a follow-up email. You can also just hit reply to that and ask your question. But we really do appreciate everybody's time and attention today. And Neil, Ricky, thank you again from Zocks and our team, and thank you for your continued partnership and support.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
great
you.
day, everyone. Goodbye.